Does anyone else think that this is like a bedazzled cover of an X-Men logo of some kind? It's probably just me. Hurts to Be Human is the 8th studio album released by Pink. First time I heard Pink, I was pretty interested in what she had to share musically. There was a few hits that in my very young youth I was, thinking it was kind of catchy. As I got older, I wasn't as interested in Pink. I always understood why she was maybe popular with other people and other audiences, but it was just kind of, okay, she's another mainstream person, that's fine. Since my college days and after, I've kind of felt like I don't really like her as much. There are some things that I think she does well musically, but I've never really felt like much of her music was really that much to be hyped about. And I do think part of that is just taste. I really do. I think part of it is just, that's just not the kind of music I would normally listen to. It's perfectly fine. But it also comes down to some of the artistry that she represents in herself. So I'm trying to figure out where that balance is. And also, I was curious how much of that would affect what I was going to listen to when I decided to chime into this album. And there's a few things that I took away from listening to it. Number one being, she took a lot, and I mean a lot, of risks in this album. There is a lot of things I did not think that she has ever done, or at least I've never heard from her. This is like, she's genre blending into country, EDM, a little R&B, a couple of things that I'm just like, okay, I know that you've thought about doing that before, but you're really trying to branch out and blend it all together in this album. So that part I was wanting to commend her for. Thing is, some of it works and some of it doesn't for me. With all that genre blending really being mentioned, I know the album's not trying to be cohesive genre-istically. I have no idea if these words I'm saying are even legitimate. But the lack of cohesiveness in the genre, I guess, is not my problem with this album entirely. It does detract from it, but it's not my problem with it. Another thing I took from it is, yeah, she's still a punk. She really is. She's that femme fatale punk that she always tries to represent herself as. And the other thing I took away from this album is I just don't think it worked. In part, the first part is some of her punkiness lyrically doesn't land well with me. It's a little too rough for my taste. There is a way to be able to do it. I have heard other artists do it, even other female artists do it. We don't really get it the same way Pink does, and it's good that she has some originality for herself. She has her artistry. That is a good thing. The thing is, a lot of the times it does come off a little too strong, and in this album, a good chunk of the album does come off very in your face. This one I had to write down. When she gets into topics that are more legitimate lyrically, she's too unladylike to make a good point from a musical standpoint. A couple times she's also using some vocal enhancements. I don't think it's auto-tune. I think it's just some sort of EDM enhancement of some kind, just to like switch things up. I didn't hate it, I just didn't think it was fitting for the album. A lot of the times when she tries to switch it up, I just don't buy it. I really don't. And then the other times where I think it might be somewhat more in her style, I find it kind of boring, to be honest. I think a big problem with this album is that it's really centered in just problems. It is such a negative-based album for a majority, not the whole thing, but a majority of it. I'm just like, I just feel like she's so negative-driven. I don't know, girl. I think that's why it was like pushing me away a little bit, because I'm just like, I'm not digging these vibes right here. Some of the songs she's trying to make more empowering, I can't help but say it feels like fake courage. I'm sorry if that sounds strong, but literally that's what came to my mind. All right, I think I've gotten that point across. Let me talk about a couple of the smaller compliments, and then I do have one compliment I really want to give this album. On the song My Attic, there were some really good strings in that song. I didn't really like the song that much, but there was something charming about the production of that song, so I'm going to give it that. The song Can We Pretend, that one probably is the best production in the entire album, and it's odd because that one is a legitimate, I would say, EDM song. EDM pop, maybe, but for some reason, that beat was catchy. Lyrically, divided a little bit. I didn't hate it, I just didn't love it. The song We Could Have It All, didn't like the song, but it did have the most Pink-esque vibes to it, so that kind of brought out her personal artistry a little bit more. Love Me Anyway with Chris Stapleton, I think it's a well-made song, but I don't buy into it, and that's disappointing for me. I don't know what it is. Chris Stapleton, that's a good artist to have featured on your album, and I don't know why I don't buy into it. I'm sorry, I don't understand. It doesn't connect with me. I don't dislike it, I just wish I could love it. And finally, her very, very, very last song, ironically titled The Last Song of Your Life. It was acoustically vibrant. It has some, actual heart, some lyrical heart to it. Where was this in the entire album? Seriously, Pink, where was this? Where was this? This song was terrific, and it's the only one I can say about that. It's like a jazz band playing this really amazing piece, but it sounds very poorly rehearsed. But that one person who gets a solo and is actually really good and focused made someone pay attention while they were playing it, and then it ended. That's kind of what this feels like. This partially didn't surprise me, and this partially really surprised me because I was hoping I was going to get a little bit more from her because she has proven herself to be more talented than I give her credit for. But really, one song? Come on. One? So after having listened and reviewed this album, with production of 92%, creativity 77%, expression and lyrics 60%, I'm going to give this album an okay. I'm sure there's plenty of other people who would disagree with this, and that's fine. I'm okay. I'm completely okay with that. But that's what I got for you right now. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you want to discover, promote, and review the best in entertainment, remember to comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff with social media so you can get that yes in your life. See you next time.